Have you ever had that unsettling feeling? That quiet whisper in your gut, telling you something isn't quite right with a relationship, even when everything on the surface seems fine? Perhaps someone smiles and says all the right words, but you walk away feeling inexplicably drained, or even a little diminished. It's a painful reality that as we grow older, our social circles might shift, and the quality of our connections becomes profoundly important. To think that someone we've known, or even a newer acquaintance, might secretly harbor negative feelings towards us can be deeply unsettling. We often dismiss these feelings as our imagination, or perhaps we just try to be more understanding. But what if those quiet signals are actually profound indicators, pointing to something much deeper? There's a timeless truth about human nature, observed by one of history's most insightful minds, Carl Jung, that offers a powerful lens through which to understand these tricky dynamics. In this video, we're going to explore 7 subtle, yet incredibly powerful signs that someone might secretly harbor ill will towards you, especially as we navigate the later, richer chapters of life. And we'll tie it back to Jung's profound insights into the human psyche, giving you the wisdom to protect your peace. Watch to the very end, because what we uncover about preserving your well-being might truly surprise you. Let's begin by tuning into those quiet signals, the ones our intuition often picks up on even before our conscious mind fully comprehends them. The first sign you might notice is what I call the disguised dismissal. This isn't overt rudeness, not a shouted insult or a clear snub. Instead, it's a subtle yet consistent pattern where someone quietly brushes off your achievements, your opinions, or even your very presence in a way that makes you feel invalidated. Imagine you share some exciting news, perhaps about a hobby you've picked up, a small personal victory, or even a cherished memory from your past. Instead of genuine interest or congratulation, they might immediately change the subject, or offer a backhanded compliment that feels more like a slight. Maybe they'll say something like, "Oh, that's nice," with a tone that suggests it's anything but, or perhaps they'll quickly pivot to something about themselves that somehow overshadows your moment. This subtle dismissal can also manifest when you're offering an opinion or contributing to a conversation. They might interrupt you, talk over you, or simply ignore what you've said and direct their attention to someone else, leaving you feeling unheard and invisible. Carl Jung's work offers incredible insight into this behavior. He spoke extensively about the shadow, the unconscious aspects of ourselves, often negative or unacknowledged, that we project onto others. When someone consistently dismisses you, it often stems from their own unacknowledged insecurities or resentments. They might secretly envy a quality you possess, perhaps your confidence, your joy, your independent spirit, or even just the simple fact that you are living authentically, qualities they might suppress or deny within themselves. By subtly diminishing you, they're unconsciously trying to elevate themselves or ease their own discomfort. What can you do when you notice this? The key is observation and self-protection. Notice if this is a pattern, or just a one-off. Observe how they treat others. Is it just you, or are they generally dismissive? Most importantly, protect your energy by not seeking their validation. You know your worth, and their attempts to diminish you say far more about their inner landscape than they do about yours. You don't need their applause to celebrate your own triumphs or to validate your own thoughts. Following closely on the heels of disguised dismissal is our second sign: subtle sabotage or accidental undermining. This is where someone might forget to include you in a shared activity, misrepresent your words to others, or subtly hinder your efforts in a way that they can easily pass off as an accident or a misunderstanding. It's never outright malicious, always with a plausible deniability. Perhaps they mention a gathering that happened yesterday, casually saying, "Oh, I thought someone else was telling you." Or you discover they subtly twisted something you said to another person, making you look bad, only for them to feign innocent surprise when confronted. Imagine you're trying to achieve something, big or small, and they offer advice that sounds helpful but subtly nudges you in the wrong direction. Or they forget to pass on crucial information you needed. This is not about blatant obstruction, but quiet, almost invisible roadblocks. From a Jungian perspective, this behavior still very much ties into the shadow, But it can also touch upon power dynamics. Someone engaging in subtle sabotage might be feeling a sense of inadequacy or powerlessness within themselves. And by undermining you, they are trying to assert a quiet form of control or dominance. They might perceive you as a threat, consciously or unconsciously, and their actions are an attempt to neutralize that perceived threat, or simply to feel a fleeting sense of superiority. This underhandedness is a manifestation of their inability to deal with their own competitive or envious feelings directly. When faced with this, clarity and boundaries become your best friends. Keep your communication clear and, when necessary, document important interactions, even if it's just mentally, if things consistently feel too coincidental. If you're always the one left out or misled, trust that gut feeling. You don't need to confront them aggressively, but you can choose to be more discerning about the information you share with them and the trust you place in their actions. Don't be afraid to double-check details or verify information through other sources. Our third sign is the absent empathy or emotional detachment. This manifests as a remarkable lack of concern or warmth when you are struggling, and an inability to genuinely share your joy when you are happy. It's not just a person who isn't outwardly emotional. It's someone who seems fundamentally disconnected from your emotional experience. If you're sharing a personal difficulty, perhaps a health concern, a family challenge, or even just a bad day, their response might be a quick, shallow platitude, or they might pivot the conversation immediately back to themselves and their own issues, almost as if your feelings are an inconvenience. There's no genuine listening, no warmth in their eyes, no offer of comfort. Conversely, when you're celebrating something wonderful, a milestone, a success, or simply a moment of pure happiness, their reaction is flat, critical, or even subtly begrudging. There's no authentic mirroring of your joy, no shared delight. This can be incredibly jarring, leaving you feeling isolated and misunderstood. Jung might explain this through the lens of their underdeveloped feeling function, one of his 4 psychological functions. Some individuals simply struggle to connect with emotions, both their own and others. However, when it's specifically directed towards you, it can also be a sign that their persona, the mask they present to the world, is so rigidly held that it prevents genuine connection with someone they secretly resent. Their true feelings, which are negative, create an emotional barrier that makes authentic empathy impossible. They simply cannot allow themselves to feel with you because it would contradict their underlying animosity. When you encounter this consistent lack of empathy, it's a clear signal to adjust your expectations of that relationship. Don't go to this person for emotional support or shared joy. Seek deeper connections with those who genuinely care, who can truly meet you in your emotional landscape, both good and bad. Recognizing this pattern isn't about blaming them, but about wisely redirecting your emotional needs to where they can be met with authentic care. These first few signs can be quite unsettling, but understanding them is the first step towards protecting your well-being. Now, let's delve deeper into other ways secret resentment can manifest, and what Carl Jung had to say about them. Moving on from the more subtle emotional cues, let's explore how hidden animosity can show up in more active, though still indirect, ways. The 4th sign is the classic unbackhanded compliment or passive aggression. This is where someone says something that sounds like a compliment, but contains a veiled insult, a subtle jab, or a thinly disguised criticism. It's a favorite tactic of those who can't, or won't, express their negative feelings directly. Imagine someone saying, "You look great for your age, considering," or "That's an interesting outfit choice. Very brave for someone like you." The compliment is there, but the qualifier or the tone strips it of any genuine warmth and leaves you feeling subtly undermined. Another form of passive aggression might be agreeing to do something with you, then subtly complaining about it behind your back, or deliberately arriving late to an agreed-upon meeting, offering flimsy excuses, forcing you to wait. They might agree to help, then do a half-hearted job, leaving you to pick up the pieces, all while maintaining an air of innocence. From a Jungian perspective, this is a very clear manifestation of the shadow at play: negative feelings, jealousy, resentment, bitterness, are being expressed indirectly because the individual is either unable to acknowledge these feelings in themselves or is unwilling to confront them directly. They lack the emotional maturity or courage to be authentic. The backhanded compliment is a way to relieve their inner tension without appearing overtly hostile. It allows them to maintain a persona of politeness while still expressing their underlying negativity. It's a failure to integrate the darker, more uncomfortable aspects of their personality. When you receive a backhanded compliment, the best approach is often to acknowledge only the positive part, or to simply let it hang in the air without engaging the dig. A simple "thank you" with a calm expression can be powerful. Don't get drawn into trying to decode or confront their veiled aggression. For other forms of passive aggression, setting clear boundaries and consequences, or simply disengaging from the dynamic, is often the most effective strategy. Our fifth sign is constant competition, even over trivial things. This person seems to feel an unending need to one-up you, to constantly compare themselves to you and always come out on top, even in the most casual of conversations. You mention a nice vacation you had, and they immediately launch into a story about a more exotic, longer, or more luxurious trip they took. You share a small personal success, and they quickly interject with a story about a bigger, grander achievement of their own, almost as if your success diminishes theirs. They frame everyday interactions as competitions, subtly or overtly trying to establish their superiority. It's exhausting, and it leaves you feeling as though your experiences and achievements are never quite good enough. Jung would point to a deeply insecure ego struggling to bolster itself by diminishing others. This behavior is often rooted in profound envy, which is a powerful and destructive shadow emotion. Their own sense of inadequacy, their unfulfilled desires, or their unacknowledged personal failures are projected onto you as a competitor. They cannot simply celebrate your good fortune because it triggers their own discomfort, their feeling of not being enough. By constantly trying to be better, they are attempting to fill an internal void. How do you respond? The most liberating approach is to refuse to engage in the competition. Celebrate your own achievements internally, knowing their validity doesn't depend on anyone else's reaction. When they try to one-up you, you can simply smile and genuinely say, "That sounds wonderful for you," and then gently shift the conversation away from comparison. You are not responsible for their insecurity, and you don't need to participate in their need to compete. Next, we look at the sixth sign, unexplained avoidance or distancing. This is when someone who was once present in your life suddenly becomes less available, starts making excuses to avoid spending time with you, or stops initiating contact without any clear or understandable reason. They might consistently be too busy when you suggest getting together. Their responses to your messages become increasingly delayed or brief. Or you might notice them avoiding eye contact or seeming generally uncomfortable in your presence. It's a quiet fade out, leaving you wondering what happened. This isn't about busy schedules or life changes, which are understandable. It's a consistent pattern of withdrawal that feels personal and unexplained. From a Jungian perspective, this can be a conscious or unconscious withdrawal stemming from unresolved internal issues on their part, or a desire to avoid confronting their own negative feelings about you. Their persona, the polite social mask, dictates that they can't openly express their animosity. So, instead, their true feelings dictate withdrawal. They might be struggling with a deeply ingrained dislike or resentment that they cannot express, and avoidance becomes their primary coping mechanism. It's their way of managing their unintegrated shadow without open conflict. When you notice this pattern of unexplained avoidance, it's often a gift of clarity. Respect their space. Don't chase or demand explanations, as that can often lead to more frustration or evasiveness. Instead, focus your energy on relationships where connection is reciprocal, easy, and genuinely desired. Sometimes, letting go of a connection that is actively pulling away is the kindest thing you can do for your own peace of mind. And finally, our seventh sign, perhaps one of the most insidious: gossip and slander. Even in subtle forms. Maisha, this is when you become aware that someone is spreading negative stories or opinions about you, often disguised as concern or just telling you what I heard. They might share your private vulnerabilities with others, exaggerate your flaws, or subtly undermine your reputation by planting seeds of doubt. It might not be direct insults, but whispered comments, insinuations, or sharing anecdotes that cast you in a less than favorable light. You might hear these things secondhand, or notice that people's perceptions of you seem to have subtly shifted after interacting with this person. This is a direct attack, albeit a covert one. And it's particularly hurtful because it often happens behind your back. Carl Jung would unequivocally link this to a powerful and destructive manifestation of the shadow, often fueled by profound jealousy, resentment, or a desperate desire for control or power. When someone engages in gossip and slander, they are attempting to diminish your social standing, your reputation, or your perceived worth because they themselves feel diminished or they envy something you possess. It's a way for them to exert a sense of power or to feel superior by tearing you down. Their own unacknowledged negativity is being projected and externalized, quite literally, onto your character. How do you handle this? Awareness is crucial. If you hear whispers, consider the source. Your best defense is to continue living authentically and with integrity. Your character will speak for itself. In some cases, a direct, calm confrontation might be appropriate, but often, the most powerful response is to simply distance yourself from this individual. Your integrity is your best shield. You don't need to engage in their drama or descend to their level. Recognizing this sign is about protecting your peace and your reputation by choosing wisely who you allow into your closest circles. We've uncovered these 7 subtle yet impactful signs that someone might secretly harbor negative feelings towards you as you get older. We started with the disguised dismissal, that quiet invalidation, moving through the unsettling quiet sabotage, the chilling absence of empathy, and into the more pointed backhanded compliments. Then we looked at the exhausting constant competition, the sudden, unexplained avoidance, and finally, the insidious nature of gossip and slander. Each of these, in its own way, offers a window into the complex human psyche, often revealing more about the other person's inner world than about yours. This brings us back to Carl Jung's profound understanding of the human psyche. Jung taught us about the shadow, those unconscious aspects of ourselves, often negative or unacknowledged, that we project onto others. When someone secretly resents or dislikes you, it often isn't truly about how. It's about their own unintegrated shadow. They might see qualities in you, your freedom, your peace, your achievements, your very presence, or simply the contentment you radiate, that trigger their own envy, their insecurity, their unfulfilled desires, or their unaddressed pain. Their negative feelings are less a reflection of your worth, your actions, or your character, and more a direct mirror of their own internal struggles, their own unexamined pain. Recognizing this is incredibly liberating. It means you don't have to carry the weight of their resentment. Their feelings belong to them, born from their own unresolved issues, their own inner turmoil. You are not responsible for their unhappiness or their inability to be authentic. As we navigate the golden years, our time, our emotional energy, and our spiritual well-being become even more precious. You deserve to surround yourself with people who genuinely uplift you, who celebrate your joys with authentic warmth, and who offer comfort and understanding in your sorrows. Don't waste your vital energy trying to win over someone who is determined to see you through a lens of negativity or resentment. It's perfectly okay. In fact, it's a wise and necessary act of self-care. To create distance, to set clear boundaries, and to consciously choose to invest your emotional energy in relationships that are reciprocal, kind, and nourishing. This isn't about being confrontational or abandoning people. It's about self-respect and fiercely protecting your inner peace. It's about becoming more discerning, more wise, about where you place your trust, your vulnerability, and your precious heart. Remember, your peace of mind is paramount. Letting go of relationships that consistently drain you, that leave you feeling diminished or uneasy, isn't a sign of weakness. It's a profound testament to your strength, your wisdom, and your unwavering commitment to living a life filled with genuine connection and authentic joy. You've earned the right to choose who is in your inner circle, to cultivate a garden of relationships where you can truly blossom. Sometimes, the most powerful act you can take is to send them compassion from a distance, understanding that their struggle is their own, and then consciously shifting your focus back to your own well-being and the wonderful people who genuinely cherish you. What signs have you noticed in your own life? Have you ever felt that unsettling feeling from someone close, only to later understand it wasn't about you at all? Share your experiences and your wisdom in the comments below. Your insights are so valuable, and sharing them helps all of us feel less alone and more empowered. If this video resonated with you, and you found these insights helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel reach more wonderful people like you. And make sure you subscribe, so you don't miss out on more wisdom and inspiration designed to help you live your fullest, happiest life at every age. Always remember, as you grow older, you gain profound wisdom and an unparalleled perspective. Use that wisdom to discern who truly belongs in your life, who genuinely wishes you well, and who sees the best in you. Protect your beautiful spirit, embrace authentic connections, and live your best life, filled with peace, joy, and genuine love every single day.